Which road is coming? I'd say an hour.
That was the advice you gave us.
So we had to have all these signs.
We did. We stuck with the contract.
Yeah.
It all worked out in the end.
No, we weren't really utilitarian in our little and you're like, because we paid for it all. So we paid so much anyone who can help, we should have been already working. Use the number.
Every day? How far up do you go?
There's the potential for it.
Do they do anything? You know what I mean? But we're
So great.
Are you serious?
You just have to always stay at the or big hotels that have in the lobby, and then you go down in your PJs. We just said that. Hey, darling. How are you? Congratulations, honey. No, I'm actually in the board. My name tag got wrong. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
And they've been taking
I'd like to welcome you all on behalf of Knox and McCarter English. My name is Richard Boyd. I'm a partner at McCarter English. The firm is delighted to be able to sponsor this event. We think it's a wonderful event for the firm, but it's also more importantly a wonderful event for the city of Hartford. And Knox and McCarter feel that one of the things that we're recognizing with these awards is all of you in the room who are awardees, your commitment to your neighborhood, to the city, to the sense of pride, the sense of self of the city, and how important it is that the city look good, that our neighborhoods look good. And these awards relate to that, and other people are going to comment in more detail about that. I want to quickly turn to an introduction who will then we'll move forward with that and look forward to a wonderful evening and hearing from many of you by way of award recipients. I'd like to turn the program over now to Ron Pitts, who's the Executive Director of Knox, who's done so much for the city. Ron, really appreciate you taking from the pulpit.
Thank you, Rick. First off, I'd like to thank Rick Voigt and his firm, Carter English, for hosting the Hartford Blooms Awards one more time. So please, let's thank. I'd like to thank our staff as well. I'd like to introduce Bijal Patel. Bijal is our brand new staff member. Our advancement and marketing associate. Let's see, Charmaine Craig. Charmaine Craig and Rick Voigt almost single-handedly put this event together, so thank you so much, Charmaine, for all this. Nan Arnstein, Nan?
Right down here.
Nan sitting down there is our finance operations manager. And of course, we can't forget Ryan. There he is. Thank you very much. This is a all hands on deck affair, but mainly, like I said, it's Rick and Charmaine who put this together. They drive around the city and they identify different homes, such as yours, and different businesses where you do a stellar job doing your landscaping. And this is one of our favorite events because we get to thank you. This is the type of work that we do, and people thank us and give us accolades, but we always feel that you guys are the unsung heroes, the guys who put in the long hours at work and then come home and do it at, when you get home as well to take care of your yards. And those of you who have businesses that are getting the awards, you guys care enough about your businesses and about the appearance of the businesses, so you hire good firms and you watch them and you make sure they do a good job. This is all part of a growing and healthy city with people that actually have pride in the city that they live in, and that's the main thing. Everything that Knox does, every beautification effort, almost every tree that we plant with the community. And we pride ourselves on that because the whole idea behind that is actually to have citizens of Hartford and the community to actually be part of that positive change that's coming about. We need to know that you want trees in your neighborhood. We don't just come in and plant trees everywhere. We need to know, we need feedback from everybody, from every community member. This is why it's so important. And actually getting you involved in our work is our trademark. It's essential. I wanted to also thank the City of Hartford, Mayor Segarra. Thank you very much for giving us the funding to plant 1,000 trees this year. We're on the home stretch of planting 1,000 trees, and I wanted to ask to keep that going. As we plant trees, we find people such as yourselves and the community members, as we work with the community, wow, those trees look amazing, but I'm in the next block, and can I have some trees? And Heather, City Forester, Heather Dion. For a few short months, and boy, she really hit the ground running. With the storms that we've had, and all the tree work that needs to be done, Heather and her crew are really doing amazing work out there. So thank you. Heather also is working with Knox, identifying new tree sites for next year, and helping us, of course, choose the sites for the trees that are remaining for this year. So we hope that we can keep that going. One of the things I wanted to mention too is Mayor Bloomberg of the city of New York endorsed Obama because Obama was kind of bullish on the climate change. And it it's unfortunate because for so many years this has been happening. And nobody really noticed it when 40 million people were 40,000 people were displaced from their homes in Bangladesh, flooding all over the world right now. This is all a result of climate change. And the most cost-effective way to combat climate change is to plant trees. I don't know if you all knew that, but that's the most effective way. Climate change is being caused by carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Trees absorb carbon dioxide, so we need to plant more trees. So thank you for having the wisdom and the courage, Mr. Mayor, to plant the trees that we have this year, and let's keep it going. I wanted to have our board stand, board members. Thank you so much, Knox Board. And speaking of board members, I'd like to have Neil Griffiths, our board chair, come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Ron. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, friends, honored guests, Ms. Segarra, and board members. Thank you for attending this event this evening. It's a great event to be a part of. I'd like to also thank Rick and McCarter English for organizing and hosting this event. It's a great testament to the community when a member of the business community recognizes and honors and awards residents, homeowners, and business and property owners for the work they do to beautify their surroundings, beautify and take care of their surroundings. So thank you for doing so. I'd also like to thank the Knox team as well. You'll hear this many times throughout tonight, but I'd also like to thank you as well. You do a tremendous job, and this is a great event this must be a gratifying event to organize for you, because you're seeing the fruits of your labor. You nurture the environment, and then you see the fruits of your nurturing. So it's great. So thank you, Charmaine and Ron and Ryan and all the team members here. You know, the event is about honoring. It's about, you know, recognizing and honoring city residents and businesses for their excellence in property beautification. But I think it's also important that you know that you honor us. You honor us. You honor the city of Hartford. You honor yourselves because of the value and respect that you have for, you know, taking care of your properties, for beautifying your environments. So the honor you're giving to us as well. It's twofold. So with that, I just want to thank you all again for attending, and we appreciate everything you do to really sustain the quality of life in the city of Hartford. Thank you.
Thanks, Camille. I'd like to bring up a special guest. This guest is a past recipient of the Blooms Award. I think she was a past recipient of 2 Blooms Awards. And we've been lucky enough to work with Nicole. We're working on Burton Street in the north end of Hartford. We're actually working with the MDC, who is in the middle of a clean water project. The Clean Water Project, as disruptive as it is probably one of the greenest projects in the whole country right now. It actually is, when it's done, it's going to eliminate raw sewage going into the Connecticut River, which is always a good thing. And it's a bit disruptive at this point, but it's going to pay off in the long run. Unfortunately, in this project, a lot of trees have come down. And a lot of those trees are very old trees that at the end of their life cycle and need to be replaced anyway. But many are not. Many are vibrant, healthy trees. But a lot of trees are coming down. This is a separate planting project than a project that we're doing with the city, the 1,000 trees. This, we're replacing trees as the MDC takes them down, and we're working with residents in the areas where the MDC is causing this disturbance. Because Nicola is actually helping us on Burton Street, we were able to, I believe, 20 or so trees came down. With Nicola's help, we were able to get neighborhoods to agree to 51 trees being replaced on that street. So I'm going to have her come up and she'll tell us.
My story is brief but delightful. That's a nice way to start. Good evening, everybody. My name is Nicola Allen. Please stand my husband, Aldwin, my son, John, Luke, and Mariah. That's my family. 15 years ago, we bought a house on Birch Street, motivated by my husband. I graduated college, and he and I dated in high school, and we wanted to be in love and have this enchanting romance in the suburbs. But that was my desire. His desire was to work 20 years in the city of Hartford. Doing what? I'm not quite sure. Back then, I was smitten, and so I listened to everything that he said, but as for how much actually penetrated, I can't tell you now, because when we bought the house on Burton Street, I was filled with great regret. Great regret. It was very noisy. It was very filthy. It was plagued with all kinds of troublesome, undesirable behavior. And I worked night shift at the time, and it was just too difficult to function. 6 months in, I said, I can't live here anymore. You know, there's a choice between love and marriage, and there's a choice between sanity. And to be honest with you, though he's quite handsome, I really wanted sanity. But he being on the board of Upper Albany, he said, you know, Nikki, instead of complaining, why don't you find something to do? And that wasn't the support I was looking for. When you're young and you're in love, you kind of want, baby, you know, I really, really want you to be happy, and maybe we will, you know, rent it out to somebody else. But that he didn't do. So I decided to plant flowers, inspired by his mother, who planted geraniums, and she loved roses. I knew roses because most women know roses. But in terms of identifying a plant, a species, trees, nothing. But with her help and her just love and cheerfulness that she had, and she's on Sigourney Street, the Upper Albany side. I said, you know, well, if it's working for her, well, you know, let's try it. So after working, I would drive from Newington all through South End, West End, West Hartford, Avon, Simsbury, Bloomfield. You're talking years, every day, just so that I would get reprieve from being on Burton Street because it was just so undesirable. You go home, and I would drive past my house. I would literally just drive past and park up at somebody else's house in West Hartford. You know, that didn't last too long because, you know, who is this woman and why is she over here? But I did that day after day, week after week, for years. And in my constant touring, I realized that it's not that our houses are different in Hartford. Sometimes they're smaller scale, sometimes they're as grand, depending on your location. But what really motivated the ambiance in the suburbs is they have nice lawns, a lot of trees, and gardens. So I said, you know what? Along with my mother-in-law's help, I'm just going to start planting some flowers. And we started off, this just to show you how much experience I had. To start planting flowers, I planted 5 burning bushes. For those of you who garden, that's really funny. Because burning bushes don't have flowers, they just turn red. And then they're now on the invasive list, I just learned. So it just was not a good combination. They set in for about 3 years, and again, if anybody who's familiar with burning bushes, once those things are rooted, you have a hard time taking them out. So my husband, as lovely as he is, we used a pickaxe and dug it up by the root and transferred them to the back. That's what you saw in the back. That was originally my front yard. And then I just started reading all the books, going to Home Depot,
I have to add, those burning bushes that she's talking about are 10 feet tall now.
Yeah. And I had them. We have a bay window in front of the house, and we had them just literally encompassing this bay window, and I thought it was going to be fabulous. And I kept waiting for the flowers, but the flowers would never come. So in any case, with more knowledge and, you know, just getting a lot of consultation, I would go to Patrici's, I would go to Glen Hill, Moscarillo's, you name it, I went there. They started to get sick of me because I wouldn't buy anything. I just asked a lot of questions. And over time, we just started planting here and there until we had a really evolved landscape. Fast forward 15 years, we've ended up purchasing homes on the street. We bought a $200,000 fence. Did anybody get that? Yeah. I'm not a proponent of chain link fences in the front of a home. I think it's you have better ways of creating a natural border than a chain link fence. And one of the things that we've done, I would say successfully on Burton Street, after moving close to 16 at this point, is we started to buy homes not because we wanted to be investors, but because we just absolutely abhorred fences. So that was my $200,000 fence. We had a neighbor that bordered us, and we were able to persuade her to take her fence down. And she did, and it was wrought iron, and that took 3 years. But we bought wave petunias, we swept her yard, I would mow her lawn, anything it would take to just, you know, over time, just break her down. And one morning, I heard the welders soldering this beautiful wrought iron fence, and I run upstairs and I call my house. I said, Tommy, you would not believe what's going on. Well, Miss Skeet took down her fence. She was also out here a couple years ago. And then we persuaded the neighbor to the right to take down their fence, which is a very big deal. So we have 3 homes in a row that had no fence. At the time, we were purchasing plants out of our own pockets. Or I was, he didn't know. But now, you know, I was buying plants and giving it to them just so that we can have some semblance of continuity. And then we had the Pride Block program, which sponsored the street. And through that, if you were willing to take your fence down, then I would do your garden at no cost, just completely voluntary. My husband and I worked tirelessly. Even the children, they mulched, and you know, it was a complete, yes, we did. It was a family affair, and then it became a community affair, a neighborhood affair. In so doing, we had one final guy who wouldn't budge. And what happened was the house beside him went on sale. So we persuaded Mesquite, take down the side of your fence. We're going to buy the house next to him, take down that side, and just leave him with the front. It's a true story. And that's exactly what happened. And after he was left with the front, we broke him down, and he took the fence down. So it was almost like a addictive phenomenon, because the yards begin to mature. The azaleas and all the roses are, you know, blooming in their glory, and it became very difficult to say no. You still have people who really believe in fences and want their fence, and I'm more accepting of it now. But back then, I was just, I don't want it, period. And if you don't want to take it down, I'm not working with you. You know how the federal government had guidelines? Mayor, you have guidelines? Well, Nicola had her guidelines. You don't take down the fence, Nicola doesn't work with you. But now I'm a little bit more compromising. So with the assistance of the MDC and Ron and Charmaine, we have been effective in, as he said, planting 51 trees. The beauty of being there and fostering a relationship is that we were able to gain the confidence of our neighbors. And through that confidence, we were able to encourage them, take a tree. These trees are not going to be like the ones you had before, because many people are scarred from the past, and you know, they've had sewer problems, they've had helicopters and the leaves, but it was a process that was worthy of our time and our investment. It's important as we grow up and we have children who are now going to take our place, that we foster an environment, whether it be city or not, that is beautiful, that is comfortable, that is peaceful. And I don't think you necessarily now have to voyage out to the suburbs, though I still enjoy touring the suburbs, to be able to achieve that.
I don't want us to be an oasis just on Burton Street. Our hope is that we can be the flagship street and have like a permeating effect across the neighborhood. So 51 trees later, we've mixed dogwoods with redbuds, serviceberries, beautiful shade trees, elms, plums, thank you, Japanese maples, what else? Sergeant cherry trees. We have a complete mix of trees, complementing the canopy with nice shade trees, and then you have your beautiful flowering trees. And one of the beautiful things that I'm happy about is that we were able to coordinate it with the existing plants that we already had from the initial project, Pride Block. So I think that if we all, and as we are all in here, we all have to applaud ourselves for the effort that we've taken, because we're all in here because we have a shared view and a shared investment into maturing a city that's more family-centered. It is a city, but it can still have those nurturing elements that we all seek after, even though we're in the inner city. So it's my hope, and I believe your shared hope, that we inspire other people and we have that same permeating influence so that we can be effective in the years to come. Thank you.